Hello, Kristen Grace McGarry here. I am a health and lifestyle alchemist. I have many degrees in Asian medicine, acupuncture, herbology, homeopathy, biological medicine, neurotherapy, perineural therapy, advanced cranial sacral therapy. I have many tools in my toolbox. One includes functional medicine, functional blood chemistry analysis. I'm an author and an international speaker as well. And I'm here to continue my series on empowerment, inspiration, and really showing up in service to all of my Facebook friends and family. Some of you may already be aware of who I am and be connected to me, and others we might be meeting this time for the first time. So welcome. Today I'm going to address stress. And I have discovered in working remotely with patients over this last week how stressed people are. I also have a team of people helping me better help all of you, and they're feeling stressed, and we're having conversations about that. And one thing that's come up for people is stress eating. So when we're feeling stressed, how are we managing our feelings? And some people are reporting to me that they are reaching for food, comfort foods. And so I wanted to talk about these habits and what goes on with us when we are under stress, and give you some tips, give you some tools in your toolbox so that you can experience more freedom and vibrancy instead of feeling locked into these old habits or what I call strategies of protection. So there's a lot going on in our world, and a lot of it we have no control over. We only have control over ourselves, and hopefully everyone is isolating and staying safe. Isolating not because we're afraid of getting sick, but isolating out of responsibility for our global community in not burdening or overwhelming the healthcare system, so that people who really need care can get care, and there are enough beds in ICU, and there are enough ventilators, and there are enough physicians and nurses who can help someone who just had a heart attack or a stroke, or can help someone having breathing issues because of COVID or an asthma attack. And so I'm inviting everyone to isolate. And in our isolation, we're often with ourselves and going deeper inside and noticing the stress and noticing perhaps old patterns that we have or old habits for dealing with stress. I'm on a lot of keto groups because I'm an author of Holistic Keto for Gut Health, a program for resetting your metabolism. And on these keto groups, people are saying they don't want to do keto anymore. They don't want to eat well anymore. They're too stressed. So my invitation to you is to look at how you may be managing your stress. Oh, thank you, everyone. Hello, Michelle. I'm just seeing that people are online. Hello, Omar. Hello, Richard. Thanks for joining me. If you have questions or comments or something specific you're dealing with around stress in this time, please send me a note, send me a message. Let's talk about it. Let me share some of my tips and tricks with you so that you can have more tools in your toolbox and be more empowered during these coming weeks and months. So back to stress and using food as comfort. One of my strategies for working with stress eating and using food for comfort is to take a moment and go inside and notice where in your physical body are you holding the stress. So take a moment to do that. Do you notice it in your shoulders, your chest, your abdomen, your head? Where are you holding stress right now? Just notice and just honor that this is where your body is showing you. And next, notice the ways in which you manage stress right now. Is it with food? Is it exercise? Is it watching a lot of TV or movies? Is it being on Facebook and kind of scrolling? I call it the space out scroll. Just kind of scrolling and scrolling, looking for something to stimulate you because it might be uncomfortable right where you are in your body, or it might be a habit. So begin to identify the ways you've been coping with stress this week. Heighten your awareness. Have you been more irritable, so you're taking it out on your family or friends? Have you felt more quiet and isolated? Have you been crying? Just notice how you're expressing it. Just heighten your awareness. Good. Next, identify that pattern, or 1 or 2 or 3. Just choose your top one, your top go-to when you're stressed. What do you do? How do you manage it? And now, recognize whatever that strategy is and have great gratitude for it, because it served you at a certain time in your life. So we don't want to throw away or get rid of these strategies of protection. We want to harmonize them. This is a different concept because many times we want to push things away that we don't like. We're like, ooh, let's not do that. Ooh, no, I don't want that. But I'm going to invite you to bring it in, welcome it in, and honor it, and have gratitude for it, because it served you at one time in your life. It just may not be serving you now. So honor that, say thank you for it. And next, I invite you to go back in your own personal timeline, your history. Quiet yourself for a moment, go back in your timeline, and ask your body, ask your unconscious to show you the very first time you recognized this strategy of protection, you used this strategy of protection, or you learned this strategy of protection. Hi, Bobby. I will get to some healthy snacks very soon. Thanks for being here. So Bobby is asking about healthy snacks, which I will address as soon as we're done with this process. So hang in there with me. Once you've identified a younger part of yourself that first felt you utilize this strategy, or perhaps you saw your family of origin or a caretaker utilizing this strategy, just use your imagination. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a big situation. Just do your best to allow. For me, age 2 comes up for me. I have no other content on that. I'm just going to trust my unconscious. So I work with this 2-year young part of me and check in with her and recognize that she was in an environment where my mom stress ate all the time. That she shoved her emotions down by using food because she didn't feel safe and she didn't have the tools to express it herself. And so just notice what age comes up for you in your own timeline in history. And then I'm going to comfort my 2-year young self. I'm going to be her adult right now. My mom did her very best with the tools she had, but I'm going to take care of my 2-year young part. And I'm going to reassure her, I'm going to model for her from my higher self that she doesn't need to use food for comfort. So my 2-year young self, what I feel is she just wants a hug. She just wants to be cuddled and seen. And so in my imagination, I'm going to do this for her. So you get to be identifying the age at which this strategy first came up for you. And one of the ways to harmonize it is then to take care of that younger part of yourself in your imagination in ways that feel really good to you. How's this going for everyone? Just go ahead and write the age that came up for you. Type it in. What age came up for you as the first time you began to utilize or recognize or learn a particular strategy of protection that you go to when you're stressed? Mine was 2. Okay, Michelle is saying she gets emotional and too much stress makes her not want to eat. So she's having a manifestation of the stress in a different way. Some people stress eat and other people avoid food. All right, ages are coming in. Thank you, Richard. 1 year old, good. Omar, 8, excellent, well done to connect with these parts of yourself. So recognize that this younger part of yourself is not your higher adult self. It's not your higher spiritual self. Recognize that there was an unmet need in this younger part of you. And you're going to, Bobby came in at 3 years young, Michelle came in at 8 years young, beautiful. So recognize this younger part of you had an unmet need, a very basic unmet need. Discover that unmet need. What was it for? For me, it was for love. Find what it was for you. And go ahead and type one word. What was your unmet need at that age? Mine was love. My little one in my imagination wanted a hug. She wanted a cuddle. What's yours? What's your unmet need? I'll give you some options. Love, safety, safe touch, compassion, nourishment. I worked with a patient once who was deprived food and sustenance at a young age because her parents were really out of balance and struggling in many ways. And so for her, she used food as medicine to self-soothe because she didn't get literal nutrients as a child. Great, Richard's coming in with being heard, a really powerful unmet need for people. Thank you. Beautiful, being heard. So now, Richard, how can you listen to this younger part of you? The 1 year young part of you that might have even been pre-verbal, how can you hear his needs in a different way? With spiritual ears of listening and understanding. Go ahead and connect to the younger parts of you. Bobby's coming in with protection. Feeling safe would be the unmet need. Beautiful, feeling safe. So connect, Bobby, to feeling safe. And how, in your imagination, can you help this younger part of you feel safe in your imagination right now? Do you need to remove her from a situation? Do you need to surround her with rose petals? Do you need to put a cloak of invisibility around her? Do you need to hug her and cuddle her? Michelle's coming in with home, an unmet need for home. And Michelle, I'd invite you to even go deeper. What does home mean to you? Does it mean acceptance? Does it mean unconditional love? Does it mean safety? Find this unmet need that home has represented for you. Beautiful, everyone. All right, and as we show up for that younger part of ourselves and find ways that feel really good in our imagination to meet those needs, I'll invite you to keep checking back in with this younger part of you over the next 4 days, 1 or 2 times a day, to check in with this part of you and see what else they may be needing, what other unmet needs are showing up for them. And then in your best, highest self, do your very best to meet those needs in your imagination. And begin to notice how some of those needs were creeping through your adult self in your interactions, in your relationships, in your desires, in work, and possibly in how you nourish and nurture yourself. And see if things don't begin to change. So let's dive again back into food and using food as medicine. And when people are stressed, they can overeat or undereat. Let's talk about actual self-sustenance and nourishing your mind, body, and spirit. Often when the body is craving something, it can mean that you're craving something emotionally or spiritually. And so before you go to putting food in your mouth, sit with your physical body and check in and ask your higher self, is this an actual physical need for nutrients? In which case, usually Leafy greens or protein will feel, or some healthy fats will feel very satisfying. If your body is craving sugar and carbohydrates, it's often a sign of an emotional need that's going unmet, or a spiritual need. So you can begin to identify, ask your body and your higher self, where is this craving or this desire for food coming from? From where has this arisen? And then do a deeper dive. You can journal about it. You can type on Facebook about it to me and this group here. Even later today, you can come back and join us and leave a message about it. I'd love to hear what you're discovering about yourself. And it's beautiful to put it out to the community, because then you get to inspire others to go deeper inside themselves and discover what their triggers are around food and how we're using it to cope. So next, I would like to explore healthy ways to give ourselves nutrients, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So I'll start with some healthy snacks. So I have a dehydrator, so I've made some kale chips. So that's been a snack of mine when I am needing a snack in between meals and I'm doing some work or I'm walking my property. I'll have a little snack. I'll sit on a rock by the river and just mindfully eat my snack because my body's wanting greens. Other snacks can be a little bit of protein with a fat. For example, I like a little bit of chicken with smashed avocado, a drizzle of olive oil, and some salt. It's a great little snack. Veggies are wonderful snacks. Carrot sticks. I often will make a lot of salad veggies, and then I just add them on top of my fresh lettuce and spinach from the garden. So I use my Cuisinart, my food processor, and there's a shredder on it, and I put my carrots in and my beets and my fennel and my radishes. Sometimes I'll chop up a little ginger on the side. Cucumbers do not work in that shredder, so don't do that, just chop them. And I put them all into a container. I tend to keep cucumbers separate if I'm doing cucumbers. And then I just take a handful of that and put it on my lettuce and salad greens and spinach stuff. So that can be an easy little salad snack. I also have been making salmon salad, and I don't use conventional mayonnaise. I often add capers and fresh turmeric root and ginger root chopped up to it. And I love my wild salmon salad. And that can be a really nice snack with some carrots, or I can put that on top of my salad. Let me hear if some of these snack ideas are helpful. I also, because I have a dehydrator, I make beef jerky for myself. So let me hear if some of these snack items are helpful and what else you like, and I can help you. I made banana muffins because I have bananas on the property recently with very few flours. I use coconut flour and a tiny bit of arrowroot, but it's a very low carbohydrate. I use a lot of chia seed and flax meal in it. And you can find that recipe, and you can find other recipes like my vegan, keto, paleo-friendly avocado brownies. I was just on TV and I did a cooking demo, and that was a recipe I used. And it is a fantastic, healthy snack. It has no flours in it. It's amazing. So you can check that out as well. I'm going to now move to emotional tools to get needs met. Thanks, Carrie. Welcome. Glad you're here with us. Carrie just joined us. Great to see you here. So when we're noticing, when we ask our body the question, are we craving a real nutrient? Or are we having an emotional need and we're looking for food? And our body says, yes, we need a nutrient. We need greens, proteins, fats, something like that. If we're craving carbs or sugar, we're going to continue to ask the question around emotional needs. And ask, what are my emotional needs right now? What needs are not getting met? Is it a need for connection, for safety, for love, to be heard? And then using our higher self, we're going to begin to meet these needs for ourselves. Maybe it means turning music on and dancing in the living room or singing out loud. Maybe it means you go outside and get fresh air and take some deep breaths and imagine the vital life force energy filling every single cell in your being. Maybe you call your best friend and say, I just need to hear that you're there for me right now. I'm feeling alone. Maybe you move into prayer or meditation if you have such a practice. In future Facebook Lives, I'll walk you through other meditation practices that I've been doing, and possibly even some Qigong practices to help connect you to a deeper way, in a deeper way to yourself and the vibrant world around you that is full of vital life force energy. So identify these unmet needs emotionally and then begin to get them met for yourself. I want to empower you that you can meet these for yourself. And we don't have to be dependent on others, and yet we can remain connected to them. There's a kind of healthy interdependency that I want to begin teaching you that is different than unhealthy out of balance dependency, where we feel we have to get something or need something desperately from someone else and we need to convince them, or we've got to keep getting this thing from this person because there's nowhere else we can get it. That's out of balance. That's not what I'm speaking to. I'm speaking about a healthy connection where we receive and give to each other in a very balanced way. So next, after you've identified emotional needs that might have gone unmet, we're going to move to spiritual needs. Do you have a regular practice that you do every single day for yourself? It's non-denominational. So if you're religious, then it may be a prayer. It could be doing the rosary. It could be a mantra, a chant. It could be 4 yoga poses. It could be a 10, 20, or 30-minute meditation. It could be working with Joe Dispenza's meditations, whom I'm very, very fond of, and I love his work. It could be an abundance meditation that I'm doing right now from Deepak Chopra. So what is your practice every day? It could be a special connection in nature. Have a practice. I invite you to create a new practice for yourself in this coming week and weekend. And this can be your spiritual food. So we've identified and addressed both physical cravings and potential underlying needs, emotional ones, as well as spiritual. I want to thank you all for joining me. I will see you this weekend. If you've just joined me now, please listen and leave responses down below in the text fields, and I'd love to be of service and continue helping you in any way I can and empowering you in any way I can. You can find out more about me and where I'm speaking and articles I've written and blogs on guthappyketo.com. guthappyketo.com. And I look forward to being with you again tomorrow. Many blessings and be well. Bye for now.